There's been so much global attention on the life of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. I'm heading to his village in Punjab called Barsinghpura. I want to find out who he really was. The house Hardeep grew up in is still on this potato and wheat farm. Gurcharan Singh has worked for the Nijjar family and shows us around. So this is the house?
Right.
Faded, dusty photos from Hardeep's life are still displayed inside.
हाँ पढ़ना इत्थे बढ़ गया जन्म भी ऐसे ही करता है उसका रास्ते में कई बार मिल जाते जाना अंदर स्कूल को
Gurcharan reveals to us that Indian police and intelligence searched this house and their village in the months leading up to Hardeep Singh Nijjar's killing.
दो चार तो होंगे ही कई बार दो गड्डियां भी आ जाती सी जब बड़ा अफसर को नाल होंगे कई एक गड्डी होनी साथ ही उनके सी पेटी अंदर एक पेटी पई है चाबी है नहीं सी उधर उनके पास ही था तो उन्हें पीछे तोड़ी है तोड़ के बीच देखे की है साथ ही रखते थे जो बेड खोलना फिर भी साथ खड़ा कर लेंगे साढ़े से कोई इल्जाम ना लगे भी कोई चीज़ गवाच गई तलाशी लेनी है कहते तलाशी बाकी ਉਹਦਾ घर ਕਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਇੱਦੇ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਇੱਦੇ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਆ ਤੇ ਕੱਲੀ ਕੱਲੀ ਪੇਟੀਆਂ ਹੋ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਬੈੱਡ ਉੱਥੇ ਬੈੱਡ ਪੈਣ ਬੈੱਡ ਪਿਆ ਬੈੱਡ ਸਾਰੇ ਤਲਾਸ਼ੀ ਕਰ ਦੇਖੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੁਝ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਿਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਸਾਰੇ
Hardeep's uncle Himath still works on the family farm. He watched Hardeep grow up during the anti-Sikh violence in the late 80s and 90s.
Normal ਸੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਡੈਡੀ ਨਾਲ ਦੁੱਧ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਹੋਰ 15-16 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਿਰਿਆਸੀ ਤੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਿਰਿਆਸੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਜਾਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਜਾਣਾ ਮੈਂ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਜਾਣਾ
News of Hardeep's death shocked the village.
ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਅਫਸੋਸ ਕਰਨ ਆਏ ਬਾਰੋ ਬਾਰੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਰਹੇ उनको मारा गया उसके लड़के अपने फादरलैस हो गए ਉਹਦੀ ਵਾਈਫ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਾਰਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਦਾ ਹੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ
Hardeep's uncle says his nephew wasn't a terrorist, despite the Modi government's claims.
ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਹਰਕਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਫਿਰ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਇਹਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਉਹਦੀ ਹਰਕਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਗੋਲੀ ਮਾਰ ਦੀ
In no uncertain terms. Any involvement of a foreign government in the killing of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil is an unacceptable violation of our sovereignty. It is contrary to the fundamental rules by which free, open, and democratic societies conduct themselves. Over the past number of weeks, Canadian security agencies have been actively pursuing credible allegations of a potential link between agents of the government of India and the killing of a Canadian citizen, Hardeep Singh Nijjar.
Pankaj Saran was working in India's National Security Agency in the lead-up to Nijjar's death. He's since left, but it's rare someone from that secretive department sits down with media on this issue.
I think we were all surprised in India when we watched and we heard because it was dramatic. The Indian government, I think, responded the way anyone would have expected them to. Basically, they said, look, this, we don't know what they're saying. And, this is not our policy.
India had labelled Hardeep Singh Nijjar a terrorist, accusing him of a range of crimes like meeting militant leaders in Pakistan, flying ammunition from there to India through paragliders, and plotting killings in India. Pankaj Saran says Hardeep Singh Nijjar was on their radar. India wanted him and members of his group extradited.
This was something that had been shared along with many other dossiers. We've had, I believe, almost 25 extradition requests that have been put across to the Canadians. And we have basically told them this is all the material that there is. And all that we're asking you is to return them back to India so that they can be tried as per law.
Was Hardeep Singh Nijjar a threat to India?
They threaten India's unity and territorial integrity, and therefore they strike at the foundations of the Indian state.
Pankaj Saran says protecting India's national interests is paramount. Do you think there's a scenario where Indian agents are justified in killing overseas citizens?
Theoretically speaking, if someone has to defend your country against threats which you perceive to be are of your core national interest, then all means are fair. This is the practice that has been followed since time immemorial by every nation on earth. This is nothing unique or specific to India. So at a conceptual, theoretical level, of course, every nation has the responsibility to protect and defend itself.
For months, Canada's allegations against the Indian government seemed to be isolated. Then, at the end of last year, another stunning allegation came to light. US authorities charged a man with plotting to kill a Sikh separatist in New York, saying he was acting on the orders of an Indian agent. The alleged plot failed.
I can say that this is something we take very seriously. A number of us have raised this directly with the Indian government.
Canada said this gave its claims legitimacy.
The news coming out of the United States further underscores what we've been talking about from the very beginning, which is that India needs to take this seriously.
Sikh separatists in Canada, the US and the UK have been warned by authorities in their countries that their lives are in danger. While we've been investigating this story, we've discovered that officers from Australia's intelligence agency, ASIO, have met up with Sikh separatists in Australia as well. Samar Kohli is one of the leaders of the Khalistan movement in Australia. He's been working with Hardeep Singh Nijjar's group, Sikhs for Justice.
We met at a cafeteria, and at that time they had basic questions on the referendum, what the referendum is about, whether do we feel that that there's a foreign interference, to which I said yes, and I could give examples, and I gave them a couple of examples there.
He says ASIO officers have met with him since the killing.
I think a week after the assassination, I met with ASIO again, and well, I told you this is going to happen, and then the question was whether we feel that threat is real in Australia. And I think that everything is possible. The way they use the terminology is we are aware of what is happening, we are monitoring everything, we know who the key figures are, and we're making sure all those key figures are safe.
When Narendra Modi met his Australian counterpart, he urged him to take action against Khalistan supporters.
प्रधानमंत्री अल्बनीज़ी ने इस संदर्भ में जो कदम उठाए हैं, मैं इसके लिए उनको धन्यवाद देता हूं। साथ ही उन्होंने मुझे एक बार फिर आश्वस्त किया है